welcome everyone to episode 60 of The Space Between. And we start with a recap from Ethan. So some in media res here. That scene is almost identical to the one from Illinois Bones and the Temple of Infinite Snakes is all I'm saying. But I gotta finish this audio log real quick. Hope I didn't catch none of that. Already got enough grief from Cherry now that she knows I read Jennifer Moon's novels. Anyway, we're scouting out this bunker right now. Zeke did some teleportating and found out they got some robo guards that'll patrol if anything suspicious happens. But it let Eva and Cherry see how we can get in and out with their badge thingies in their hands. So they whipped up a fake one for us to use. Cherry, Zeke, and Pete used it to get inside and start looking around. Sounds like we hit the jackpot. Place is a showroom of some kind. It's got two mint pre-tech ships just sitting around waiting to be heisted. Eva and me are on Overwatch outside right now, ready to get in there and see some action, or at least start hauling some loot out of there. Guess I can read some more novel while I'm waiting. At least if someone can stop critiquing my analysis of this new novel. Incoherent audio of Eva and Bo bickering. All right. I like it. Oh, yeah, so last session we left off with Pete. I guess let's see, Pete, Zeke, and Cherry in the facility, getting ready to return. And so, do we want to go ahead and make good on that?
Yeah, we'll proceed with the plan of hightailing it out and going back to our forward base.
Okay.
Wait, did we start streaming yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right. There you are. I was looking for you on Twitch and I couldn't find you.
Oh,
Hold
didn't always
hold
update.
up. Yeah, I got it now.
But good looking out.
All right.
I've scared myself a couple times. Go to the page at the end and it's sitting there like, well, this is a nice day, isn't it? And I'm like, did you do anything?
Ooh.
Okay, so what is my first step? Let's look here. Okay, this is the other thing that has me a little stressed is like doing the recap, but also trying to go back and forth between the recap and out of character planning to make sure I don't miss anything. But I have my phone, so hopefully I can keep the planning up on here. Okay. Okay, so I'm a little overwhelmed at like the walls of text that we have going in out of character planning.
Uh-huh.
What should be my first step with where we're at?
Right now, we're just pulling back to base, to our forward operating base there. Once there, it's we can decide what specific things Cherry wants to hack, and that'll be our next step is figuring out what specific hacks Cherry wants to make.
Okay, and have we done enough recon to determine what specific hacks we need to make at this point?
There is one more piece of information that would be beneficial to us, and that is what kind of security systems does the facility have? Because if it has poison chocolate, we want to be able to suppress the
Oh
poison
my word.
chocolate.
Okay.
Or if you want, more realistic, swinging sword traps.
Okay. Cool.
The
But
Terran
But
Mandate
anyway,
is not above
we
swinging the sword
do
groups.
we do need to figure out though what kind of security stuff it has going on.
see, I'm of a mixed mind of that because if it felt to me like we couldn't do that right where we were. Like the bot was literally looking at Cherry while she was sat down there, right? It didn't feel like it was going to let her tap away and try to successfully ram a hack into the system to get that information. Unless I'm mistaken about the scene.
So that was a vision of Zeke's.
Right, I forgot that part.
That was I forget exactly. I believe I think he said something about trying to sit down and like access the security terminal there using the the spoofed bot credentials that you guys had.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, what happened was a security bot woke up and challenged your authority or your
Okay.
presence there. But no, that has in actuality not happened. We were shortly after that vision. I think the decision was made to go back. Are we going ahead and saying that that has happened? You guys are gonna either teleport back or walk back.
I'm fine with saying that that's happened. I think that definitely was the plan.
Well,
Okay.
just real quick. So something I had seen was that like your hacking gets more difficult with each hack within a 24-hour period.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So are we sure we don't want to try any hacks right now before we go back and reset that?
Nope, not sure. It's
So
yeah. Go ahead.
So one
go
thing
ahead.
I was just going to quickly interject. One thing to keep in mind is that you need 2 line shunts placed to get hacks beyond the basic one that you already done working. Um,
Mhm.
one in the security room by the terminal there, and the other in the hangar by the maintenance terminal.
Okay.
And those are one-time use kinds of things.
Right.
Um, so you'll need to either like leave them in place and hope they don't get discovered between now and the next day, or you'll need to basically like use them, then remove them, and have be ready to use another 2 the next day.
Gotcha.
I forgot that he said that we would need line shunts. I think it's safer to come and do it all in one swoop, and I mean, I guess we'll just have to decide if we want to ask what kind of security systems there are and take the difficulty hit on future questions, or if we want to gamble on there only being one.
Well, it sounds like
I have
the
a third
safer
idea.
option.
I
I
have a
was just
third
going to
idea
say,
before you continue that thought.
oh, third idea. Okay, go ahead.
Third idea, we could have Bo run around shooting things and see what other
Let's
security measures
go.
pop up.
That's a great plan. I like this plan.
That does sound like a quorum of 3 type of plan.
Sorry, Robert, Avery. Nothing I can do about this. My hands are tied by the bylaws.
I'm sorry, Daniel. What were you saying?
Just that taking the safer route's probably the best route.
Yeah.
So,
Boo, yes. Boo.
Ethan, I'm pretty positive you will always feel that way. So I love you, but I'm gonna elect to ignore you in this moment.
All right, so
Just in this moment, though.
let's enact the part of the plan that has the forward team pulling back to camp. We'll decide what hacks. Well, Danielle will decide what hacks to prepare for the security and for ship entry. And then we'll rest, let Zeke get his effort back, and let the system kind of reset itself from the efforts that we've already made. And since we're
Okay.
just planning on basically calling that a night, can we just have Zeke teleport us back?
To the ship? What do you mean?
No, to the base. Eva still wants to observe.
Okay. Yeah, he can teleport himself, Pete, and Cherry out of the facility back to the little campsite,
Okay.
little base camp that you guys set up.
Okay.
Okay, so poof, you guys are no longer in that facility. You appear back up at the base camp with Eva and Bo. Zeke breathes a small sigh of relief.
Okay, so uh, what do you need to get into that?
Are you talking to me right now?
Yes.
Okay. To get into that, I'm probably going to need some line shunts and I'm going to need to do a lot of like
Oh,
research.
line shunts. I wonder if I could make those. I bet I could make some line shunts at some point.
It's a great idea.
Of course it is. I know. Okay. Well, you probably got this, but is there anything I can do to help?
Yeah, that's I guess if you have any information on the kind of systems they use around here, that'd be helpful.
Oh, yeah, like I I could get a history, find a history of protocol and data protocols and code changes. Maybe even pin down the what era this was made and what computer systems and subsystems they might be using. Yep. So that's what Eva's doing, Ben.
She's starting work on crafting a line shunt.
No. um, I guess this could possibly be called an assist check for Cherry, although I'm not sure at what point it would apply. But Eva's going to try and research, try and do some archaeology, basically, based on what information we have and what we can assume about this system, and try to dig up. You know how like if you're hacking Commodore 64, you do things a little bit differently than Windows 10, right?
Yeah, so you're talking about the data protocols.
Data protocols, which I don't think Cherry actually needs, so I'm not actually looking for the data protocols, but trying to see if Eva can roll something to give her a bonus in one of her rolls to hack.
That'd be pretty great.
Okay.
Just with some,
So, okay,
oh, sorry, what's that, Ethan?
I was saying just by your assisting here,
Yeah.
preemptively, yes, I guess then it's like a backstory for your
Hmm.
help in the future.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
a little
pretty
curious
much.
what information are you pulling from for Eva to kind of help Cherry plan her hacks?
The encyclopedic downloads, accumulation of knowledge that she has downloaded to her library on the ship. Also,
Okay.
trying to, with what she's seen here, she's trying to backdate the place, um, figure out what if she thinks she can figure out when this was built, what computer systems or protocols or programming they were using at the time. I am stretching here, but basically just any little tidbit that she could get, uh, little programming tricks that were used in a specific period. The kind of eclectic knowledge that somebody uh, said would only ever be good for Trivial Pursuit.
Hmm. Okay, interesting.
There's a little known secret, but if you enter the Konami code at the main terminal of this
Oh
bunker,
my.
Basically
Hmm.
that, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, so I think all right, I'm trying to think about how to apply this. Since this is Cherry's not really having to make a skill check to like prep her hacks. Go ahead and give me a no skill check from Eva.
Okay. Wow.
She knows some things.
Why
The
does...
number's not loading for me there.
Yeah, and I see 2 6s on my screen, but it only came up to a 14, so clearly the 6s are lying.
Obviously.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm seeing a 3 plus 6, then
Plus
plus your
2.
5 bonus.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's
so
a
yeah,
14.
14.
but yeah,
Uh,
Eva knows the serial number of the computer that was used.
well, I was gonna say that is a partial success.
Oh wow. Um, I'll happily re-roll that. This is, I mean, it's not like this scene's gonna roll into the next day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Eva, I would say that Eva has gotten absolutely engrossed in this history of computing and has probably said more than once she had no idea that programming and hacking was actually interesting. Okay, that's not better. I'll
Oh,
take the
so
partial.
nice.
Well, yeah, you get the automatic +1.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So, yeah, what that will tell Eva is what she can piece together is that back in the days of the Terran Mandate at its peak, data protocols had been largely standardized except for, at least across, I guess, a broad spectrum of uses. Um, Maybe the most secure and sensitive things run by the mandate itself would have been under more secretive protocols. But by and large, the general populace used standardized stuff. And this facility so far, from the information that Eva has, seems like one that would have used that. However, that is a protocol that is no longer in common use. She herself is not actually familiar with and did not have information on, not anything actually detailing like the actual contents of the data protocol, because that sort of thing in a large sense has been lost to time. However, she dug just a little deeper in her knowledge and was able to figure out that in some circles at least on Loenu Da, that data protocol is still taught. It's not particularly publicized, and the fact that Eva knows this is testament to her incredibly persistent and deep digging hunt for information that she always pursues. But
Can't be the know-it-all if you don't
also,
know it all.
That also gives her a bit of a hint about. Well, I'm trying to think how to phrase this. It also makes it notable to her that Cherry was able to perform a hack on the system here without having taken time to study or investigate the data protocols ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the sort of thing you just find laying around.
Okay. It sounds to me like that doesn't she doesn't come up with anything that's particularly useful for Cherry then.
Right. She does not come up with anything new or additional that she thinks would help Cherry. She does, though, learn that Cherry is already more familiar with this than she might have expected.
Hmm. All right. Well, she is still going to uh regale Cherry and Bo with her findings of how the Terran Mandate uh used a certain set of data protocols throughout the years, except on certain sensitive military applications, and even those were a similar set, etc., 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 etc.
Fun.
Where would we be? Where would we be without a good info dump from Eva?
Yeah, I know, probably floating in space and rolling up our new characters.
So true. Eva thinks to herself. All right, so Eva is regaling Bo and Cherry with this information. Pete is doing his practice to tune out. Cherry is working away at preparing hacks. Now back to that subject. Where are we at?
Well,
Daniel?
yes. So with preparing the hacks, do I need to roll anything for preparing them, or is it just
No, it's just
like I'm out of my depth, to be completely
okay.
honest.
Got you. Yeah. So the basic concept is that for hacking in Stars Without Number, you need to have prepared ahead of time. If you want to be able to do a hack quickly and effectively, you need to have prepared ahead of time, you know, like writing out some groundwork, that kind of stuff, paving the way a little bit to be able to quickly plug in and then do the finishing touches on a particular hack. If you haven't taken, I think it's an
So I'm
hour.
preparing spells, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, it's a good analogy. So it takes an hour per specific hack that you want to prepare to do. And so if you haven't taken that hour for whatever thing you're wanting to try to hack, then then in the moment you're going to either have to take 10 minutes, hooked up to the data line, fiddling with security stuff and doing the hack, or you have to rush it and take an extra hit to the difficulty check and still go ahead and get to do it in the main action time frame, but it's harder because you're rushing. So the idea is you want to prepare as much as you can specific hacks for this place and everything. So like we've discussed some in the chat already, needs to be fairly specific stuff like suppress the bot response system or subvert the hangar bay controls, so that you can open and shut them as you wish, or sabotage the the power plant in the
Okay.
so on and so forth. There were some mentions of getting general information on a particular topic or answering a specific question about something. Each of those would be a single hack that would take an hour of time. And so you've got the better part of 24 hours, minus whatever time you need to sleep, obviously.
Yeah.
So you can,
Okay.
I said 16. I don't know that you need 16 hacks, but yeah, so that's where we got talking about some of the different specific options.
Okay.
So I think it seems pretty safe to say like turrets and bots would be a couple of hacks that you want to do to either, I don't know whether you want to do suppress or
So,
subvert. Suppress
yeah,
is
I was
easy.
gonna say, I guess maybe I should ask my teammates because that affects our plans.
Mm-hmm.
So, would we
Yeah.
want to subvert or suppress?
I lean towards suppress for
Yeah.
most of them. I think this bonus of subvert is to get control, and so that
Yeah.
might be bigger, I guess. If we did know there was something like turrets, then we could do something like use the turrets to shoot the robots or something like that. But
Right.
I think just being able to turn stuff off, and then I guess trust in our ability to defeat any combat countermeasures that we might run into.
Okay.
Yeah. Full
I guess
agreement
we
there.
would need to do things like subvert the doors, probably, if we want to try and run off with a spaceship here.
Okay.
And keep in mind that again, each one of these is +1 to the difficulty, so we probably
Um,
won't get to do too many.
yeah, a greedy one, since I think you did bring like your whole data server thing, right? Might be that
Storage unit.
complete database acquisition.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy pre-tech info, I'm sure, that could be
A complete
pulled
database
out of this
acquisition
bunker.
doesn't just download the entire bunker's worth of data. It still just gets all the files on a thing.
In case it pulls that computer, yeah.
Basically,
Right.
yeah.
So I guess if we pulled, the showroom files for that could already be a bunch of like treasure leads.
So how would I write that? Do what with the system information?
The complete database acquisition, and I guess we'd have to pick a room probably of something like the showroom or the security room. Because, like Dex was saying, I think they'd partition this stuff. Sure, it wouldn't be just like a download the home directory for, the bunker and we get all their stuff. I guess we
I
might get lucky.
Yeah,
And
I
Ben
was gonna
has.
say it could be. It could all be on a single database, but uh, I don't think it's likely.
Yeah, so I guess that one is kind of a on its own. We just decide what database is best to acquire if there's multiple.
It's
Yeah,
also
that one's a slight bit of a gray area because the the examples they give span a decent spectrum of scope.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, none of it is really just like none of it's
Like
like,
clone their whole computer, kind
yeah,
of. Yeah.
give me the whole database on the entire system, like every piece of information in this system. It still does tend to be like a
Grab their folder on a specific
yeah,
range
because
of
it's
things.
yeah, because the you know it does need to be a deeper scope than just like get all the information on a subject. Um, so it's there's a little bit of potential overlap, or like
But they
conceptually
get
between
general
the two.
info. Yeah.
Yeah, but like generally getting complete database acquisition, that's going to give you more than just information about, a subject. It's going to give you everything they've got in that whole area. Um,
The way I've
so
always done it is you get what's in that database connected to that terminal. Like if you're in the research lab for gravity displacement, and there are several different projects under gravity displacement. Each of those projects would be get general information, but the research lab's database is going to have all of those projects. And
mm,
so, like
got
at
you.
a terminal in a security system, we might get every single piece of data that's on the data, the server in the security system, but that's certainly not linked up to the server that's running the showroom, because that's all sales stuff or corporate stuff. It's probably not linked to whatever R&D they might have somewhere else as well.
Mm,
That's
yeah, I
how
see what you
I've
mean.
done it.
Yeah, um, I doubt. Yeah, it definitely. That's a little bit different than how I've imagined
Okay.
some of their systems running. We haven't had too many cases where we've done kind of a something like a complete database acquisition. Um, in general, obviously what you're able to hack depends on what is connected to what you're, what you're tapped into. But yeah, in most cases, like I generally run like, for example, this place. It's it's a safe bet that pretty much everything here is going to be on the same network. Um, there might be something particularly sensitive that is, air gapped from everything else. Um, but in general, you kind of expect a particular, facility. It's got to have, like, if you're in the security room, this has got to be connected to most everything else to be able to control the doors entering and various other stuff. Like, yeah, I guess what you're saying is like if you're standing at the showroom terminal, then you don't necessarily have access to the security stuff.
Hmm.
Um, I think of that as kind of what the line shunts are for. They are getting you access, to the you know past the security measures in the system and letting you hack in. So I guess I kind of the way I've thought about it so far is that if you've gone to the if you've gotten to the point where you've figured out where the line shunts need to go and you've gotten to those places and put them in there, I'm not going to be too picky about where you tap, which data line you tap into at that point because, I just treat most things as hooked up together.
Yeah, you're definitely kinder than I am on that. So would you say that if we did do a complete database acquisition, that it would get the whole facilities servers worth of the whole facility's worth of data?
That's
Because
kind of what I lean towards.
that
Um,
that is making that a more appealing option to me. It's a very high difficulty, so it's tough to pull
Yeah.
off. But imagine the trove of information that Eva and Cherry or Eva could sort through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of where I come back on it, is that it is a, for a sufficiently valuable database, it is going to be such a difficult check that if you can pull that off,
Mhm.
then you get something valuable. Yeah, I might I don't know, I might come to regret that or something, but I'm at least off the cuff, I'm inclined, and based on how I've done stuff in the past, I'm inclined to say, yeah, if you're in their system and you've gotten access to it with all the right preparation, then yeah, if you can manage to get their database, you get their database.
All right, so Danielle, what I would suggest for our hacks is Ben is foreshadowing the turrets pretty heavily. So let's make sure that we get a suppressed bot and a suppressed turrets.
Great. I have that written down already.
All right, perfect.
Am I foreshadowing turrets?
Yes, you're foreshadowing turrets. Or you're misleading turrets. But either way, we've got 16 different things we can do. So it's not a significant drain to throw that in there.
Yeah, I'll say about 2 turrets at the very least.
Well, those are ship turrets, though, right?
Yeah, fair.
Have I forgotten something? Were there like anti small person turrets?
Anti-Eva
No,
turrets.
Anti-Eva
but yeah,
turrets. Okay.
no, but yeah, I guess if you're talking about like, yeah,
I
I
mean,
got you.
so
Anti-ship turrets is a separate thing. Yeah.
the anti-ship turrets are a concern, but they feel like a concern for later. Then you'll specify
Yeah, it's gonna get
anti-personnel
away with the
turrets.
ship.
What did you say, Dex?
Specify anti-personnel turrets. Um, and I guess it wouldn't hurt to also do one for anti-ship turrets. So we'll have 2 prepared hacks for the turrets. There's unless we run out of hacks somehow, there's no harm in it. Um,
So the first one is anti-personnel.
and
The second one is, what was it?
anti-ship or anti-air, anti-space.
Yeah, I'll take any of the above.
Yeah. The other thing that I mentioned is it sounds like the hangar doors will also be on a different system or a different hack than internal facility doors. Is that a safe assumption, Ben?
Hmm.
I only jumped to that because I did hear you say hangar bay doors at one point as being a specific hack. Like an example of one.
Yeah, I may have said that.
If you meant all doors in a facility, then that sounds fine too. I'd be happy with just preparing that. It's easier.
I think I will. I will say in this case that those. I'll go ahead and lump those in with doors in the facility, just because it does feel slightly excessive to separate off those, because those are essentially an exterior door, just like the other doors. I'm not going to differentiate between interior doors and exterior doors. So
Okay. Then another one that we want, Danielle, is to subvert doors, basically.
she's already got
Okay.
that one down.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm not at my computer. I could probably look at what she's written. Oh yeah. All right. Suppress bots, subvert doors, complete database acquisition. How did you feel about my last one there, Ben? The basically answer a specific question. What steps will we need to take to actually take over the base? Is that something that you'd be prepared to answer?
I think that is a reasonable question.
Okay.
And if I if I haven't had time looking over that, yeah, I might need to defer the answer to that to another time, but
No, I don't mean like answer immediately. I meant more in general. Yeah.
but yeah, in general, yeah, I think that's a specific enough question.
Okay.
Um, I yeah, though as I think about it, with the amount of information that would likely come along with that I'm leaning towards general information
Hmm.
because that is more than just one answer. That's more than just one piece of information. That's a potentially, or likely a multi-step involved process that includes a good bit of detail about
Uh,
how the place operates.
that's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that that question would be a general information thing.
Okay. Then there you go, Danielle. That's my last suggestion, and that is get general information. How do we own all your base?
I thought we just walked in and said all your base are belong to me.
That only works in pre-mandate bases.
Oh, got you.
Sorry, Ben, if you had something funnier to say.
No, you're fine. I was just chuckling.
It's okay. I also think make a dumb suggestion, get a dumb answer is totally acceptable as well.
I mean, hey, it couldn't hurt to try it. Actually, no, I'm lying. It would totally hurt to try it.
It would definitely hurt to try it.
You're not supposed to be part of the quorum of 3 bad ideas squad, Ben.
No, see, that's just it. I am always a source of bad ideas.
No. See, you need to save these up for when the more level-headed minds, which is scary to include Avery and Robert in that group, are present. Let us do all the bad ideaing when it's just us 3, but when Robert and Avery are chilling us out, that's when you push out your GM bad ideas.
So I see in this situation, I have to be the voice of reason.
No.
Balance those.
No. We don't want that either. I heard Danielle say yes, though.
I want that.
She said, please. Please.
All right, so does my hacking prep include everything?
Go ahead and add get general information on base takeover.
Yeah. And also, I guess it would be suppress a system, get into cruiser ship. Would that be a suppress, Ben?
Let's see.
The last thing I need to add is suppress system.
So for the cruiser, I would say you're going to want to subvert the cruiser, like, airlock access.
Okay.
You would probably want to. You would probably also want a a subvert cruiser, like um maybe like piloting controls. Since you guys are expecting, you would probably not be, you know, they wouldn't have probably left the keys in the ignition, to so to speak.
Mm.
So you would want to be able to hack in and give yourself access to pilot that ship.
Okay.
And then I guess I don't know if you'd want either a like a subvert or sabotage. Well, probably not sabotage. You'd want either a subvert or maybe suppress for any other security measures or things that you think the cruiser might have.
It is a
Okay.
it is a cruiser. It could have its own internal security measures. Hmm.
Because something else to consider. Let me see. Yeah, because for one, like remember that the scale of the map stuff here is not correct. So the cruiser is it's a monster of a ship. It is not. It is like far larger than the what's it called? This. Why am I wanting to call it the Swallowtail? Is it the Swallowtail?
It is Swallowtail.
Yeah. Far larger than the Swallowtail, and it likely it could require anywhere from like from like 10 crew or 50 crew to pilot the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which may or may not have been something that you were accounting for already.
Will the cruiser be on the same system, or will those be escalating difficulty separately?
That will be separate.
Okay.
The cruiser is going to be its own separated system. And hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Hmm. Oh, I think I want to get some kind of skill check to see what the characters might already know or suspect about a cruiser like this that might give them more information about the what to expect in the cruiser, what they might need to deal with in the cruiser.
Okay. What kind of check are you looking for that?
Um, I think probably a no check would be good enough. I would probably also take a pilot skill check. I think a pilot skill check would be a lower difficulty. Um, like a pilot with intelligence. All right, so there's a no with intelligence. Yeah, I think that'll be good enough to to give an idea. Um, all right, so let's see. Um, okay, so hmm. Yeah, I think this is Eva would know that a cruiser like this, a ship this large, especially one that predates the Scream and um a lot of the a lot of the Navy budget considerations and stuff of the modern era, um, it is likely to be pretty well kitted out. Um, I think she would expect that for one, it's going to have pretty considerable weaponry on board, um, like ship weaponry,
Mm-hmm.
and it is also likely to have um, some sort of starship defense system in place. Now, what that would be exactly is going to be beyond her, I think. Um, just too many options to really know for sure. Um,
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else. I'm trying to figure out how to give this information without it feeling like too much metagaming. Because um gotta put myself in Eva's head. Uh,
She's
It's a
read a
scary
lot of
place to
fiction
be.
novels.
I'll say I think she would consider it at least a possibility worth planning for, that the ship may have an automation support system that would be basically what interfaces. I think, especially considering what you've seen so far in the facility, with the number of different kinds of bots. I think with a 14, I would let her piece together. It is worth preparing a hack for an automation support system.
Now, do you mean automation support system, or do you mean like more something defense?
I mean, automation support system.
Oh, okay. Uh, hmm. Huh. I guess taking over the. Oh, actually, yeah, taking over the robots that effectively fly the ship. Well, keep the ship running while a human is flying it. Would be a good idea.
Yeah, because she's, considering the options, either it requires more people on hand to pilot than you guys have available to pilot,
Mm-hmm.
in which case you're kind of up a creek with no paddle anyway, or there's some sort of system in place that would let you pilot it without needing the requisite number of warm bodies. And so you might be able
Yeah.
to, in order to do that without being the legitimate owner of the ship, you're going to need to be able to hack. And we have not done this before in any of my games, so this hacking stuff in a ship is a little bit of new territory for both of us, all of us, I guess. Um, yeah, I would say subverting automation support would be a good hack to prepare.
Yep. It makes sense. Um, I was struggling to think of a reason why we would need that as a quick hack as opposed to just spending the time on it, but I guess if there's bots coming at us, so we've taken the cruiser, but there's still bots coming at us, and we can't close the airlock for whatever reason, then there is a very, very niche little circumstance in which we need to make sure that we can fly now instead of in 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Danielle has already added that. Fantastic.
I think I have everything, but I'm scared I missed something.
Oh, um, you will want Oh, what is that? I think that's considered a specific question about line shunt hotspots or whatever. Yeah, and answer specific question. Where do line shunts go on the cruiser?
So I want that as one of my things.
Yeah, that's gonna need to be your first cruiser hack.
Wait, should cruiser hacks be a separate
I mean,
list?
it might help you just to keep them visually separate, but I mean,
Yeah.
you're preparing them all together.
For ease of reading, I would say yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna number these. If anybody wants to tell me what numbers should belong to the cruisers specifically.
Oh yeah, about order of operations. I was gonna say this is, just trying to give some separate advice here.
Did you say subvert cruisers? Subvert cruiser. What was the last one you said?
Oh, the last one I said was answer a specific question.
Oh, answer specific question.
Cruiser line shunts.
I don't know why I'm capitalizing every single thing.
Because they're so
Yeah.
important. Every word is important.
I tend to do that in bullet lists sometimes. What I was going to say, this is for free, I guess. The line shunt locations thing, that hack is one that doesn't itself require a line shunt, but it will still count towards the heat up on the system. So I know you guys have already exited the area. It might be worth trying to get that done before your 24-hour cool-off period, just to make things easier for you on the cruiser if you decide to end up going that route.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. So maybe at some point, Eva and Pete are talking about that cruiser, and they seem pretty serious about taking over the cruiser if they can. Eva's split between taking the cruiser apart and upgrading the Swallowtail with the pieces from it, and Pete is a little bit more pragmatic there and saying, no, the cruiser is fine as it is.
Yeah, Pete's little eyes are practically glowing at the prospect of the cruiser.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Eva's are too. And so maybe at some point, uh, someone suggests that we figure out what we'll need to do to hack into the cruiser, and Cherry and Bo and Zeke can go get that.
Okay. Oh. So which I don't know if you answered specifically which ones should be for the cruiser and which ones should not be.
At this point, I think it's fine not separating them. The important thing is that we've got them all listed down so that we can point Ben to it and say, "Hey, look, yeah, we thought about that."
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you're wanting to, if you still want to update, the only one that's for the cruiser that you haven't already included the word cruiser in is number 9. That's also cruiser. Everything else that's cruiser says cruiser in it.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I will put for that then, I will edit it and put cruiser.
There you go.
All right.
All right, I think now we just need a little bow and cherry excursion back into the base with Zeke to plan out the line shunt route on the cruiser. This would effectively be doing hack number 10 right now, so that
Mhm.
it doesn't count against us as an increase in difficulty when we come back for the full Monty tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Although I guess we're already up 1, right?
No, because the cruiser's a different system than the
Oh,
facility.
different system. Yeah. Okay, because we did have that
Mhm.
delegation.
Yeah. So
Oh,
you'd be getting underneath the cruiser, finding using the data tap phase to find a data line to access, and then get that like that surface level network information of where the line shunts need to go. All right, so you guys want to teleport back inside, as close as as close as Zeke has been to the cruiser.
Yeah.
That's a little scary to me. I mean, are we sure there's not going to be anyone like back inside?
Hmm.
It's okay. We'll go with Bo and Zeke can teleport us out, and I want to go now too. So we'll all go.
Jerry will acquiesce, give up her
Okay.
reservations on that.
Eva just wants to see the ship again.
Yeah. Let's see. So, yeah, Ezekiel just mentioned everybody that he is nearly tapped out. So he is like the best he's going to be able to do is get everybody in there and then get everybody back out again with no extra no extra bells and whistles.
Okay.
Well, that's kind of my other concern is like, do we want to do that when we could just use the hand thing again? And then he has an extra teleport. But maybe having an extra teleport isn't that important.
I'd be willing to do the hand thing again. The risk here is that we still don't know if clambering down the caldera is going to get us cited by security measures, because
Gotcha.
we haven't tried it, and Avery went a different direction with the visions, and then the teleporting. So there's still this barrier of we don't know what's going to happen if we just walk down there.
Gotcha. That is fair. All right. Well, then teleport it is, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, and you guys want to take the whole crew?
Yeah, sure.
The whole familia.
Sounds good. All right, so you all gather around. Weapons and gear at the ready. Ready for anything at all. And poof. You guys are in the hangar. You are below the cruiser, maybe around the midsection of the thing. As it's, it sprawls, filling this, filling a decent portion of this massive hangar. And then you get, Pete and Bo immediately doing, a sweep of the surroundings. Not seeing any movement for now. The maintenance bots in the hangar bay seem to still be dormant in their docks in their various locations spread all around. And Cherry can get right to work with her data phase tap, looking for a data line in the cruiser to tap.
All right.
And she would expect that most likely to work near I guess near one of the airlocks, because it does have some limitations when it comes to heavier barriers like ship plating or like bunker walls. But she can indeed find a data line shallow enough in the airlock access to go ahead and tap in and execute a hack on the cruiser to identify the line shunt locations.
Okay.
So give me that. This is going to be a hack check, so she gets her 3d6, and you get a +1 for your black slab.
So it'd be, I would click program though, right?
Correct.
Okay. And wait, did you say I had a modifier or no modifier?
Yes, a modifier of 1.
Okay. I had already clicked past the modifier page when you said that, so I was like,
Oh, whoopsie.
wait, hold on. Okay. And 3d6 because it's a hack.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Pass with flying
Yay.
colors. Yeah, this tells you that the system has a general +2 in terms of difficulty to whatever other stuff it's got going on. So that's as compared to a +3 for the facility that you had that you find the thing in.
Okay.
And
that's for the cruiser, you said?
yeah, that's correct.
What the heck did I just type? There we go.
Good question.
I'm sorry, it was pretty crazy. It was like underscore. What in the world?
It's all right. But yes, you have identified the line shunt locations. One is on top of the ship near the front, around where the cockpit view windows are positioned.
Okay, hold on. And that's in the cruiser. Okay.
Yes.
All right. One was where? Near the cockpit?
Yes.
Or near the what in the cockpit? Can you repeat what you
Near
said?
near the cockpit viewports. Or I guess you could call it would probably be called bridge viewports. It's a large enough ship, it doesn't really have a cockpit so much as a bridge.
Okay.
And the
And then
other
the
is
next one?
going to be nestled in between the engines. With the engine manifolds, I guess. But yeah. That'll do it for that.
All right.
And so that's Cherry, having completed that hack, can disconnect, deactivate the data phase tap, and you guys are ready to skedaddle. Right about that time, you hear one of the doors at the far end of the hangar sliding open with a little swish. One that comes from the hallway that you had entered into before.
Well, time to start blasting.
No, no. Wait and see.
I was gonna say, Bo is raising his rifle right as you all disappear now. Zeke whispers quickly, "Are we leaving?"
Yeah, yes, go.
All right. And so before the doors finish sliding open fully, you guys pop out of view in the hangar and reappear at your base camp.
This is so exciting. I don't know how I'm gonna sleep.
So did we see who came through the doors or did we just like hear the doors? I was a little preoccupied.
Just heard the doors.
We didn't. Well, I mean, it was obviously a robot, right?
Carrie just looks at her. I mean, did you hear like metal clinking? But like even then it could have been boots.
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't give me enough time to stick around and shoot him.
Yes.
That was intentional.
Zeke is already nowhere to be seen.
Zeke popped
Kind
back
of tree
in
to
and then
teleport up on the moon.
said later.
Yeah, so you guys are standing around your little base camp. Pretty much consists of the pressure tent and probably nothing else.
Zeke's hiding tree.
Zeke's sign tree. Well, I figure it was probably a bot. Either way, we didn't want to see them because we didn't want them to see us.
Mm-hmm. And we haven't observed any like human life, right? She almost said sentient and then she glanced at Pete.
Mm, Nothing that I saw. Bo said the. Bo, did you say there were no tracks or the dust was? Would you say like old?
Oh no, a group of dancing moon men came through when you weren't looking about an hour or so ago.
They did not.
Cherry was ready to glare at him, and then at how quickly Eva said that, she's a little tempted to like play along with Bo. Then she decides not to.
Oh, Eva looks at Cherry and says, as if trying to convince her, that didn't happen.
Anyway, here's what I found out during the hack. Turns out there are actually some line shunt locations that we could use in the cruiser.
We might fly that.
I didn't say that, but it's
But we
not
might.
impossible. True.
That'd be a big haul. That's a chunk of credits. We can fly that thing out of here.
I mean, chunk of credits. Shoot, I don't want to keep it for ourselves.
Yeah, sweet new ride.
A lot more expensive to maintain. We'd have to pick up the pace of work, the type of
But
work.
you'd have 2 ships. Consider that. They'd have to call you Admiral Eva Mulligan now.
Admiral?
Oh, wrong direction. We could, like sell the swallowtail or something, or keep it as a backup. But
There you go.
We-
We get a big ship, and then you can stick the little ship inside the big ship.
Little ship won't fit inside the big ship. Not
And then
that
we get an
big.
even bigger ship and stick our ship inside that one. It's a turducken of ships.
Oh, what? Is that
Oh, you
like
can't tell me you ain't never had a turducken.
I don't think those exist on my planet. What is that? That sounds like a really weird creature.
Well, it's 3 of them. You stick a duck inside a chicken inside a turkey, and you cook all
Cherry
of it.
Cherry looks more and more horrified the longer he's talking.
But duck wouldn't fit inside of a chicken.
Not live, they won't.
Do you eat these? Why do you eat ducks?
Wait, okay, so after they're dead.
Of
You
course,
can't
after the. What were you thinking?
You can't
I
eat
would-
ducks.
You're not exactly known for being delicate, Bo. That's all I'm saying.
Ducks is good eating.
Ducks are too cute.
They are really good, though.
Cherry.
Just because something's cute doesn't mean it's not delicious.
I guess it depends on the plant. You get some of them call ducks or whatever. Yeah, you keep them for the eggs and the feathers and such.
Ugh.
But nah,
Anyway,
you get you one of them old muskegees or something. You get you a warty face or
I bet
those
vegan
ones
duck
that
tastes
sound like
just
they
as
laugh
good.
at you. Those little smug ducks. You definitely shoot them.
Little
Gotta
broccoli
shoot smug
ducks.
ducks.
okay, this is getting weirdly personal. I just like Peking duck.
Say somebody's about to have to roll a constitution check.
Getting craven.
Oh my.
Get hungry for it. This moon ain't got no ducks that I've seen.
Keep it up, and I'm turning this into a vegan ship.
Excuse you.
Right? Make him stop.
She glares at Bo.
Oh, mind you, some delicious dino nuggets are not vegan.
That was
Anyway, about the cruiser.
yes, cruiser.
Yeah, we could like end up possibly flying out with it. So just a thought.
That's some good monies right there still. And there's 2 of them.
I think the other one was smaller, right, Ben? Yeah, the other one was a shuttle.
Yeah, the other one is much smaller. It's a shuttle, even smaller than Swallowtail. Oh, which reminds me. Sorry, that doesn't specifically remind me. But something that occurred to me that I don't think made it onto the list of hacks for Cherry there was something about subverting cameras. You guys had mentioned a few times about not knowing what is in various parts of the facility.
True.
That would be one way to acquire such knowledge.
Oh my.
All right, you can put that on the list also, Danielle. Subversive
Yeah,
cameras.
I'm already on it. Also, should I be updating which ones we use?
As far as I know, they don't like
Um,
get used. It's just
You can take number 10 off since you don't need that one anymore.
yeah, we might not need some of them anymore, but like you can use these preparations more than once if you need to, right, Ben?
I'm just gonna put a line through it. I'm not
Okay.
gonna delete it. So
What did you say, Dex? Use one of these more than once?
Yeah, if you had to come back to a system for whatever reason and redo a hack, you wouldn't need to re-prepare the hack, right?
Yeah, you could do the
Yeah,
because like
it's not a wizard spell.
yeah, for example, if like if you did a hack and the line shunts were maintaining it, and then for some reason the hack failed, it ran out, or the line shunts got removed, then you could still like reattempt the hack without having to go and prepare it all over again.
Right. Yeah, so you don't need to necessarily remove them, Danielle, but some of them that we won't need to do again, like the ship, the line through it.
okay.
And I guess we settle down after a good debate about broccoli duck and I can't remember what we got to after that. Oh yeah, the cruiser, broccoli duck, and expensive cruiser.
Merits of veganism.
Eve lets that one rest for a minute.
She doesn't want to riot.
she heard the cherry or felt the cherry glare aimed at her before she masterfully redirected its bow.
Yeah, make him stop. I totally don't want to have to resort to that, but like I totally might have to, you know? The worst. Hate it when I have to be the bad guy.
Yeah, nobody likes that.
Yeah, gross, bad guy.
I think Eva probably just she starts speculating on what kinds of jobs we would have to do. She starts mathing out in her head, like how much she thinks a cruiser like this would cost in uh annual or monthly. She thinks of it in terms of monthly, but for us it's 6 months. Maintenance and like what kind of work we would have to do, what kind of job market is like to maintain something like that. She's starting to get ideas for going bigger. I mean, not bigger than the cruiser, but going bigger in reputation, take bigger jobs.
Yeah.
Because that is the self-scaling sandbox. Is if we want to fly a cruiser, we have to be able to pay to maintain a cruiser.
That is fair, I guess.
I mean, or you just don't.
It's true. We could just
See what
fly it until it
happens.
stops flying, and then sell it. We
Yeah,
can
'cause you could
always
definitely still get something out of it.
Well, we could pull one of those garbage as is lines. Like when you're going in to buy a house and the faucets don't work, we guys pay to have this repaired? Nope. As is.
Mhm. Oh yeah, definitely. There would definitely be starship sales, as is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There would be various, either corporations or polities that just like run into hard times and are like, yeah, we can't really afford to keep this up, but they keep going for a while, and then are like, okay, now we just really can't do this anymore, so time to sell off what we can.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alrighty, so you guys get your rest in. You find Zeke having already turned in the pressure tent. Um, and so you guys get yeah, you give it enough time. Of course, you get your good rest in, and then part of the next day as well, chilling and waiting for the automated security measures inside the system to chill back down. And each I guess relieve one system strain, regain any hit points if you happen to be missing any. Um, Not sure if any of the rest of you had system strain to cool off, but yeah. So then you are ready to go for the day's heist.
So before they go in, Cherry is gonna ask over coffee that morning. So, like, remind me again the plan. Just like, not that I like forgot it, but like, just like, I want to make sure I didn't
It's
miss
okay.
anything.
I have a board for this. She pulls out a second tablet that has a little bit glassier of a front on it, or glassier of a screen.
She's actually very impressed. This is not a windshield.
You say that, but it does have that glassy shine to it.
She does have to kind of squint just to double check. Like, was this at one point a windmill? Sorry, a windshield.
Someday, we're gonna get down to the bottom of why Eva likes windshields so much.
I think it comes back to, well, I just found it and it's perfectly functional.
Yeah, probably.
First day in the junkyard, ran into the clearest windshield she'd ever seen. Literally ran into.
Yeah.
And yeah, she draws out a little diagram of the plan.
Okay.
She hands the demo charges over to Bo as part of her planning and strategizing here. Um, tells him starts to tell him how to shape them right, but he can certainly interject and say he knows how to handle a demo charge. Um, and the idea here is to shape it so that it pierces through the bots but damages as little of the facility as possible. So, like, the mechanics specifically are that a shaped charge is a fairly narrow line, very narrow but very long line of damage, as opposed to just explosive radius. And that's basically what we want is one of these shaped charges on either side of the bots. Ben described it as a neat row all along one wall, which is fantastic. Put one shaped charge on either side of them. And Then Cherry is going to attempt to hack the security room. She's going to first try to um, get in and basically subvert the security, subvert the bots, or not subvert, suppress. We're doing suppress. Were we doing suppress on the boss? Were
Oh,
we
Ben,
subverting or
I hear
suppressing?
I hear a kid crying.
Uh-oh.
You hear a kid crying? Uh-oh. Okay.
It
Like
was
a door
suppress.
just opened and shut, and I heard a kid crying. Oh, here they are.
Oh, here they
Hey,
are.
Adam. They came straight to me.
Aw.
Hey, buddy. What's wrong?
Is his tummy hurting again?
Is it your tummy? Yes. Okay.
Might want to get ready just in case.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking. You want to sit in bed with mommy? Okay,
You have a cup handy?
I do.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Hey, buddy. Come up here. I'm sorry. Hold on.
I was going to say, I thought I had said this before, but yeah,
Can we
one.
can we take
Mhm.
5? Ben, I think I need your help real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks.
Any guesses what Ben was about to say or clarify, Ethan?
mm, that we didn't prep a hack for robot ninjas, which we should always be concerned about.
What do you mean? They're on the list?
We had robot ninjas on the list.
Robot ninjas are always on the list, even if you can't see them. That's kind of the point. They're robot
How sneaky
ninjas.
they are.
Yeah. Ugh.
Sorry, guys. This is our sick one, so we're just
Mhm.
needing to take care of some stuff real quick.
Nope, nope. Do the kids thing.
Okay, BRB.
I feel very confident in saying that nobody is upset that child is not throwing up on the microphone. Uh-oh, we've actually lost Danielle from the call.
Hello. Oh. It's a little late now, but thinking it might have been time to call it. I guess if they got a sick kid, nice for getting nearish time.
Wait, what was that?
I was saying it might have been time to call it there. I guess getting nearish to time.
That's true, it is. Ben's
And if we got
mic.
a sick kiddo,
Yeah. Certainly wouldn't have any resentments of calling it early and letting them take care of a sick kid.
Okay, I have returned.
Welcome back.
Danielle should be back within a minute or two. Um, yeah, middle child not feeling well. Um, Ethan, we can maybe talk more after session, but at least earlier we were thinking he's no longer contagious. Um, we'll need to revisit or reconsider that conclusion here.
oh,
Um, or it may still be the case, but we just need to we'll need to talk a little bit about the day's events.
mm.
Don't want to get into too many gory details for the sake of the stream and maybe perhaps some people's constitutions.
IRL Constitution saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that, and my stream appreciates that.
Mm-hmm.
We were
But
noticing though how close we are to time. Do you guys need or want more time for sick baby since we're so close to the end?
I thought about that. I think we can have at least a couple minutes here to kind of wrap up.
Okay.
Maybe wrap up slightly sooner um, than usual, but we gotta at least get enough to leave on a cliffhanger, right?
No, doesn't always have to be a cliffhanger.
That is true. Yeah, I would be fine with just we could pretty much wrap whenever Danielle gets back, but I think if she gets back, I mean, I'm assuming she'll be back soon, and then we can, I guess, just go from there.
Yeah.
Ethan, I'm just now seeing your Hagrid meme. Shouldn't have said that.
All right. Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh.
believe the child is fine at this point. So
Very good.
he's about to drift back off to dreamland, I think. So what do I need to do?
Good. We were. I guess we got to rest for the night and wait out the rest of the 24-hour period, and then you guys were gearing back up to go in.
Yep.
Oh, you were talking. You were talking about putting a demolition charge on each end of the security bots.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't remember. What I'd remembered being discussed before was, using a shaped charge to just hit the bots and not, and minimize damage to everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Since I didn't say anything to dispute that. So what I was, I guess, the layout of the security room as you assessed it, one demolition charge would cover. If you shaped it, you could hit all of the security bots and minimize damage to. You could manage to avoid the security terminal that you guys were standing at before. You will end up almost certainly blowing a hole through a wall of the security room. It's
Pretty noticeable.
Yeah, it's either going to be like an exterior wall or the wall of the wall shared with the showroom. Possibly both.
Let's go.
But you can manage to hit all the security bots and avoid damaging the terminal.
And it sounds like you're suggesting that we could do that with one charge instead of using both of them for it.
Now this is not to speak as to how much damage. If you're wanting to do more damage, absolutely double up. But just as far as coverage goes, you can get it done with one.
I actually, yeah, I kind of, that's the mental image I had, was that one would cover it, but because they're all in a nice row, well, why not use two and make sure that put them all down. If Bo or Cherry want to argue for a little bit more discretion than that, and perhaps save the other demo charge for any other explosions or demolitions we need to do, Eva would go along with it.
I think Cherry would be up for saving anything they could,
Mm-hmm.
but
What do you mean saving a demolition charge for later?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can just use one then. It would be disappointing if Ben decided to roll damage instead of just saying that they were all wrecked, and we rolled a 3.
Wouldn't that be a shame if I used the written damage dice?
Those are written damage dice for combat. This isn't combat. This is pure narrative destruction.
True.
And that is a distinction that I make. I'm not trying to, Faust? Word that on
Faust.
you. Yeah. Foist.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were going for. Yeah, I see what you mean. Verb, yeah.
I am more inclined to use 2 if if setting them off is just rolling damage dice, and if using 2 will actually increase damage dice rolled, that's another consideration. Is some GMs will say no, the explosion is the explosion. It only does 3d10.
Mm,
So I do need, I guess, some rulings on that from you.
yeah, I got you. Yeah, for stuff where damage dice and hit dice are a thing, then I will need rolls.
Okay.
If you're just using it to be like, I'm gonna blow a hole in the wall, then that's not really going to be hit dice and damage dice so much as, yeah, this is going to blow a hole in the wall, or hey, you need 2 to blow a hole in that wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, for something like, since the bots do have hit dice, I will be rolling the dice. As far as doubling up, that is something I've considered before. We haven't really come up against that question before. I don't think you guys have ever tried to stack multiple demolition charges at once.
Yeah.
I am inclined to allow it just because it's it's kind of a unique feature of like the preparation involved in doing demolition charges, or the sheer danger and destruction of having multiple demolition charges.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do additional damage, along with a commensurate increase in sheer destruction. If you are if you are so inclined to do such wanton destruction, who am I to stop you?
All right, so that's a consideration, Danielle, that it's entirely possible that if these bots activate and we only use one demo charge, it might not take them down. We could roll 3 damage. We could roll 10 damage, and they have 25 hit points.
All right. Go forth.
Okay. It certainly is going to cause more damage and may make some of the facility um, inaccessible. But as for taking out the very clearly dangerous TL5, potentially TL5 bots,
Yep.
yeah. Ethan, is Bo objecting to more explosion?
Hmm.
Is Ethan objecting to more explosion?
He might now that he thinks the building's full of loot. He's like,
I'm
don't blow up all the money.
Eva is going to do a very captainly and maturing thing here and put the decision of how much demo charge to demo in Bo's hands as she is as she finishes outlining the plan so that we all have it fresh in our memory.
All right. Fantastic.
And
Let's do it.
in theory, Cherry is in the same room as him. So when he's setting that up, so if Cherry really objects to the multi demolition or to using less demo charge, she can make an argument.
She's not going to.
Okay. So yeah, in Bo's hands.
Oh boy.
Let's do this. I was absolutely expecting Ben to say, "All right, that's our session." You wanted a cliffhanger.
Hang it on the cliff.
Hey, this is information that the GM would like to know.
Oh, what? How much demo charge is being demoed? That's
I mean, I
fair.
guess
That's fair.
he's not it's not exactly gonna change. I'm gonna be like, oh, they're using 2 demolition charges. Okay, up those hit dice right here.
Well, no, I could see like you saying, all right, now I'm gonna create an environmental challenge because of all of the destruction brought. I could see that. I would do that.
Yeah, I do, I do definitely want, like, it does help me to know, okay, yeah, they're planning to set off 2 demolition charges it's at once in that room. To consider, yeah, just to consider, like, what is this destruction gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I mean, that is the contingency plan. That's like in case
Yeah.
something goes wrong in the course of trying to hack stuff. You guys aren't coming out the gates blowing up the security room.
No. No. Yeah.
Okay, so Bo, what is he thinking?
I guess keep it to one. I think he is on the keep it small to preserve the loot.
Alrighty.
And to preserve
Okay.
his chance to shoot stuff.
I knew that was part of it. So, Cherry and uh, well, yeah, Zeke and Bo go in there while Bo's setting up the charges, and then Bo swaps out for Cherry. Bo rejoins Eva and Pete in the hangar. The hangar, yeah, the hangar. Um, and then Cherry, under the watchful eye of Zeke, so that they can get teleported out if there's suddenly plasma beams aimed at either of them, starts hacking.
Heck, 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 heck.
Yeah, and I guess you guys haven't. One thing, and it feels like, I don't know, maybe there's an infinite amount of preparation you could theoretically do.
Please don't
Have you
give Eve the
decided
opportunity.
which of the hacks you would want to be trying first?
Bots.
Okay, so Cherry's prep hack number 3 is going to be the first attempted hack,
All right.
and then I'm guessing maybe subverting the doors being the second one.
So do I need to make 2 program checks with a
Um,
modifier of 1 and 3d6?
well, we could go ahead and do that. We could go ahead and do that now if you guys think that there's no other alteration to the first part of the plan. You want to get to that point. We could. I think we could move pretty quickly through there and get to a couple program checks tonight.
Uh, I'd be fine with that. I don't see any alterations to the plan. Um, the bots are absolutely, in my opinion, the first thing because we want to make sure that Cherry is safe in there as she does other hacks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you're letting us dodge this cliff, I'm happy to see a couple rolls happen. Maybe one of those rolls is the cliff.
What, dodging what cliff? Um, it's all cliffs all the way down. Let's see. So. Okay, so. Yeah, so we're going to do suppress bots is the first one, subvert doors is the second. So you guys are talking about getting in. How are we planning to make the approach and entry and all that stuff?
We still have to teleport.
True.
I
Where
think
do you guys want to teleport to?
because we did observe that something came to check on us when we teleported straight in, why don't we do the thing that did not cause something to come check on us and teleport outside and then let ourselves in with the robot hand? It'll also be a good test to see if the robot hand still works.
Yeah, I think replicating whatever it seemed to have gotten the least resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Danielle, sound good to you?
Yes.
All right. So you guys are going to teleport down to outside of the airlock and use the spoofed bot hand key card of sorts. So let's see here. Okay. Jerry has got that. She's got that thing readied. I guess we decided as one of her things, or did we give it to Eva?
No, it's cherries.
Okay. And it hasn't come relevant yet that she is that is essentially that's weighing her down a little bit too much right now, or she'd have to move something out from readied to stowed, but anyways, we won't get bogged down in that many issues right now. Panel goes green, and you're granted access to enter the airlock. And of course, entering, you go through same process as before. Of course, it tells you, the interior is not pressurized. Gives you the option to initiate pressurization. But assuming that you forego that
Yeah.
and enter on into the hangar.
Good.
Alrighty, and you come along through. On your way towards the hall. And
I think Pete was going to go with them also, just as an additional level of protection.
okay, so was it Eva gonna hang back in the hangar?
Uh, Yeah, she's not gonna hang back in the hangar alone, though. So, I mean, we clearly have to swap people out. Bo's got to set the charges, and then he comes out. Pete will hang out with Eva until Bo comes back out, and then Pete will go in, and we'll be in there with Zeke and Cherry.
It's a complicated conga line of people.
Hmm.
we
Okay.
we have two combat capable, combat competent really characters, and we want one with each of the groups at all times.
Oh, got you. So if Bo's gonna go set charges and Pete needs to stay back.
Yes, if Bo's gonna go set charges, then Pete needs to stay back. Zeke will go with Bo just to make sure that if anything happens, Bo isn't left out to dry.
Hmm. Okay. All right. So the three of you are getting ready to hang back. Bo and Zeke are heading towards the hallway. Pete speaks up. Hey, wasn't there a bot in that dock yesterday?
Bum, bum,
And
bum.
pointing at the at some of the maintenance bots that are charging. There is an empty dock.
Hmm.
Time to kill.
It's just a
Whoop,
maintenance
whoop.
bot, right?
Zeke looks from Bo across the room to Eva. Whispers to Bo, "Hey, are you sure about that?"
I've never been sure of anything more in my life.
He shrugs. "All right." So are you guys moving forward?
Yeah. Well, Eva's gonna go. I mean, we're in no atmosphere or limited atmosphere, so it's not like she has to do too much to go quiet. Um, but she sticks to comms only. Says, "Be careful, then."
Mhm.
Sneak.
Alrighty. Then okay, Bo and Zeke. I guess the the little authentication hand has been handed off to one of them. I guess maybe Bo. Or, well, we can say Zeke, since Bo probably wants his hands free to use his gun. Or guns, plural. So, Zeke will go ahead and put that thing on the sensor. And the door opens up and lets you guys in to the hallway. There is no movement or any sign of anything else going on in the hallway. You can cross to the security door, and Zeke puts his hand up against the panel here as well. And the door slides open to let you both in to the security room.
I don't know how I feel about you rolling. You should stop.
Oh, okay. Well, I can do that. No
I've
problem
changed
with
my mind. Go ahead and keep rolling.
that. Far be it from me to go against the player's wishes. um, so Zeke and Bo step into the security room, and Bo gets ready to set up the demolition charge. Notices that 2 security bot docks are empty.
Okay, that's worth putting a note on.
Well,
And fade to black.
Should have seen that coming.
Dun dun dun. Yeah, I need to perfect my like 50s radio show voice.
Do
And next time on the
really
Space
need to?
Between, it would be
gotta
great.
be done.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, if it was something about like the recording technology, or if it was just the way that people, like, it was just the popular way to voice act or whatever for radio or television announcing or whatever back then. But there's just a different quality about those voices. I guess if I were a real voice acting aficionado, I would know.
That's right.
I'm just a
That's right.
phony. Anyway, everybody can go ahead and take your XP for the session.
All right.
And then we can also do our favorites. Which may perhaps be short and sweet. Let's see, I think given everyone missing, this rolls around to be yeah, effectively me first. Let's see. Okay, I think the Turducken reference, Turducken,
Thank you.
would be, I think that would be my first favorite. Just Bo just like dropping that casually, and then everyone being like, "Wait, what? What is that?"
What terrifying creature lives on Phyllis?
Yeah, some horrific monster native to Phyllis. And I'll leave it there for now. Danielle, what about you? Oh, Danielle, do we still have you? No, in the final moments, we lost her. Alas, I overshot our session time by just too much.
That's okay. I'll
Dex,
go
what
ahead and
about
put Turducken for her also.
you? That is, it's fair. I bet she liked it.
Yep, yep. I'm gonna say that Turducken also. It was just a fun dynamic with all three. Like that, the Turducken scene in general. You can just leave it Turducken, but I want to expand for verbal. The Turducken scene in general covered so many things that were great. From Bo just casually dropping it, as you pointed out, both Eva and Cherry being like, "What? Eva's rich, Cherry's rich. almost certainly never had turducken. And I also liked it because Eva's over here getting all offended about you eat duck, but they're so cute. But Eva's rich; she's certainly eating duck. Well, Eva's parents were rich. You know, she grew up rich. She's
Yeah.
almost definitely eating duck and not known. Just yeah, I like the hypocrisy in her right there.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I guess I would have accepted the premise that like she has not had duck. You know, it's plausible
Never
at least
touch a
that
duck.
No, I
it's
think she's
plausible
eaten
that
duck
like in
before.
her yeah. Because I was honestly I was surprised. I was surprised by Cherry being like, "Oh, I love duck," because her family, I guess her background, like her dad. It would make sense to me that her dad would have prepared duck at some point in her life. It doesn't. It was unexpected to me that she actually liked it because she strikes me as like a, oh yeah, like I like the vegan stuff and the more like
Wait,
the
Cherry?
yeah, I guess. I mean, maybe I'm
Huh.
off base there. Um, she she didn't
With her
seem
dad
particularly.
making the super beef.
Yeah, it seemed like she was a little like just that was like a minor way in which um she and her dad were different. He was all chef, maximum everything. Start talking about
I thought you'd
uh,
appreciate that.
oh, that's great. Um, but yeah, anyway, I was curious to you know, I was going to want to ask Danielle about that more about Cherry's preferences or background, but because like obviously, she said it. It's canon. She likes duck. She guess she said Peking duck, or I
hmm
think that's how you say that.
Mhm.
Um, and that's not like implausible for her at all. It's just not what I would have assumed. Um, but yeah, that was definitely a fun scene. Brought out a lot of interesting moments, little background tidbits. Ethan, what about you? Let's get your official favorite.
Well, now the funniest possible thing for me to do with my favorite is to say turducken.
I'm so sorry, Ethan. I thought you had already gone.
Yeah.
Oh no, because well, now it's like 4 turduckens.
Is it only
Yeah,
four
so
turducken?
well, yeah,
Leave Avery and Robert
so I think
to
what you missed.
decipher.
Yeah, sorry, I was gonna say I think what you missed was that Dex already posted faves in the roll
Oh
20 tab. He's
no!
put Turducken for everyone. But I'll allow it if you have another thing that was your favorite from the session.
I think I did, but now I've forgotten it. Yeah. The highs
Okay.
of confusing them when they leave for one episode, one game, and then all the favorite is just turducken.
Yeah, Avery and Robert are gonna check in later and be like, what did we miss?
What has happened in that bunker?
Yeah. Did, it's gonna be like a combination of like, did those guys do anything? And then like, wait, what is this about? Demolition charge? Cruiser line shunts? What? Uh, well, thank you all for a great session. We can go ahead and call it and wrap the recording.
All right, signing off.